Let's welcome our guests to the BS podcast. She is the founder of Million Billion Media, millionbillionmedia.com. She's a former investment banker and OnlyFans star who earned six figures and then achieved a huge following on the platform. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Lucy Banks.
Hey. Hello. Thank you for having me. It is good to be here.
Oh, you can just talk for the next 30 plus minutes with that awesome Australian accent.
Yeah. I can do that easy. I'm so chatty.
Well, welcome to the show. I appreciate being here. Your story's phenomenal. I love stories of success. I think with anybody, I don't care who you are, if you've worked hard, you've grinded, and you've achieved some level of success because you've learned from whatever you did to start that success, I am on board and a huge fan. So let's start from the very beginning, because from what I read, Lucy, your start of your success on OnlyFans was because of your normal life needing to find another way to make some money, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for the kind words. Mm-hmm. And I think so, before I get into my story, this industry and this world is so stigmatized, and it's just really cool to hear people from outside the industry be like, yeah, okay, you're a success that needs to be celebrated, even though it's in this taboo industry. So first of all, appreciate the kind words.
Sure.
So I worked in investment banking. I did that for 10 years. I got married really young, had a divorce, had these two young kids, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, this rat race. I'm doing 60-hour weeks at the bank. I've got two young kids who have just been through so much change. I need to be there for them. What am I going to do for money? And I had a friend from school doing this thing called OnlyFans, and I was like, and this is back pre-pandemic, so 2019, before anyone knew what OnlyFans was. And I was like, what is this thing? Because I could see her posting photos in lingerie, but I don't really get it. And I think at that time she was making about $5,000 a month, and I was like, oh my God, sign me up. That is amazing. To me at that time, $5,000 would have changed my life. I was a single mom, two kids. I didn't really have much of a support network. So I signed up, left my job at the bank, and the rest is history. And I think a lot of the reason that why I was successful in OnlyFans is because I applied what I knew at the bank. So I was dealing with all these different businesses day in, day out. That was my job. And I could really see the commercial side of OnlyFans. So I was like, right, how am I going to turn this into a business, essentially? And to be fair, I was really lucky to get in at a good time. So I did ride the wave of COVID. And that's where everything kind of skyrocketed. But I was lucky enough to have that banking experience. And I was like, look, how am I going to, I don't want to do this forever. How am I going to leverage it? So I started using media and getting into the news. And at that time, I was the only one in Australia that was doing it. You Googled OnlyFans, I was the only person that popped up. So then, as time goes on, I was like, right, what's my exit strategy? How am I going to leave OnlyFans and do something else? So then I started Million Billion Media, which is a PR marketing agency for not just OnlyFans creators, but anyone who's doing something a bit different. I tried to get a publicist for myself. Nope, nobody would work with me. They're like, in the sin bin. We will not work with you. We will not be associated with OnlyFans. Which, that's fair. I get it. But I was like, this is such a business opportunity. So I started Million Billion 18 months ago, and it's been really busy ever since, and I love it, and it's so much fun. Mm-hmm. And we were the first people in the world to do it. And there's been a bunch of copycats pop up since, and that's cool, no worries. But it's just very cool to be leading the way.
Well, you can take the BS podcast and all the shows that I offer, and we can work with Million Billion Media. And what can you do for me? And can you make me a Lucy Banks? How about this old rugged 50? I don't know about rugged. This old beat up, just turned 50, 30-year radio veteran. What could you do with somebody like me? Or do you just handle women?
No, absolutely not. Like if you've got like a good story behind you, like not everyone can get PR, not everyone can get media. We get approached like literally every single day from people being like, I want to be in the media, but it doesn't mean that they've got a story to tell.
Right.
So it needs to be, we sort of, before I take anybody on, we don't work with everybody because like we've only been around 18 months. Like, yes, you're making an investment with us because you're paying us, but I'm also making an investment with you because I don't want anyone to ever say, I started with Million Billion and they didn't get me results. So
True.
we're really specific with people that we bring on and to make sure that they've got a good story to tell.
But the stories, so there's a lot that you've missed. I mean, I understand you were fairly brief with telling your story from A to Z, but the way that you got your popularity, and I don't give a damn. These people on OnlyFans, girls and guys, I don't care what you do. Sell pictures of your feet, your ass, your boobs, your neck. Who cares? Like, like people do worse things for money, right? When it's all said and done, you got to put food on the table for your family. And if you can sleep at night, then you can sleep at night, whatever the case may be. I mean, I look back at some of the stuff that I've done in my radio career, same with you, Fox, probably, and go, I can't believe I did that bit. And in return, I got paid by said company. You look back now and go, okay, well, the wet burqa contest, probably not the best idea, but that's shunned upon, frowned upon.
No.
Or Muff Madden games, or the strippers would come in. But your OnlyFans account was fairly explicit, right? I mean, that was the route that you took.
Yeah, but the beauty of it is that was my choice. So when I first started, again, like pre-pandemic, 2019, nobody knew what the fuck OnlyFans was. I think initially I didn't even have my face in it, and it was just like cleavage, like it was all very, demure and like secretive. And then as I felt comfortable, I did more and more and more, and it ended up being like full explicit like porn. Can I say porn?
Sure, you can say whatever you want.
Okay,
porn.
I think you just
weird.
You just said fuck, so you can say porn. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm so Australian. Like, there's a lot of cuss words.
Love it. Love it.
But I guess the beauty of it is that I didn't have like a pimp or a manager. Like, I did it as I felt comfortable, and I did it as like I charged what I wanted to. Do you know what I mean? So, and it wasn't immediately like I was doing like faceless and cleavage shots, and then I was like, boom, like we're gonna do a gangbang or anything like that. Like, it was like as I felt comfortable. So,
but were you like that before this? I mean, as you worked in a bank. I mean, obviously you had sex 3 times because you had 3 kids. But were you a party girl? Were you kind of a freak in the sheets, or did OnlyFans make you that girl?
So that's a really good question. And I got married really young. I was married at 22. I was, like a good girl. I did all the good girl things. I was like suburban little housewife. Had my kids within wedlock, blah, blah, blah. I'd never even been to a strip club. So when I started OnlyFans, everyone was like, she is having a mental breakdown. Like, what is she doing? Like, that she would never do that. But it was never anything like that. I just saw the commercial side of it. And I was going through a divorce. I just loved my kids and I didn't want to put them in daycare 6 to 6 every single day. So it was just a commercial decision for me. And like now that I'm on the other side of it, I look back at myself in 2019 and I'm like, no, like, good for you, Lucy, in 2019, because I've come out of it on the other side. I've bought a bunch of properties. My kids are at private schools. I didn't go and spend on like a boob job or like designer bags. Kind of wish I did now, but like I was smart with it, and I went into it with the mindset of, no, this is a commercial decision for me, and I came out of it with that same mindset as well. So yeah, no, I was never like a party girl, or never, like, nothing ever explicit. I come from a very religious family.
Oof.
Very religious.
So did you ever find any of your family was following you on OnlyFans?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's a whole story. Like we can
I
get
No
into
eye
know.
it, but,
contact
like,
with that uncle at the next family
Right,
reunion.
Uncle Feely hands. Yeah. Hey,
yeah.
I got a question for you in case any folks are listening who are on OnlyFans, and that is how long did traction take before it picked up?
So for me, it was probably the second month I was on there, but that's not normal. That was back before it was a thing. Whereas now, if I'd started, I didn't have the platform. Like now, I've got like a following, and like I've got like people on Instagram and stuff. But if I was to start it from scratch today, I would say give it 6 to 12 months, and that's of
Wow.
like hardcore grinding. My favorite thing is
Is that
people being like,
content or
"Oh,
work?
no,
Literally or metaphorically?
a bit,
Can
a
you
bit
imagine?
of both. It works in both ways, but people will do it for like 2 weeks, and they're like, "No, I was
Not working.
unsuccessful on OnlyFans," and it's like, no, you got to do it for a long time these days. Like, it's not like it used to be. I was lucky at the time.
Yeah.
How did all this affect your personal life? So if I go back to my younger days in radio, and rock radio in those days was the boobs and the beer and the strip clubs and all those things.
Yeah.
And it never really, truth be told, was my thing, to be honest with you. But I did it because that was the world that I was in. So actually, I befriended a lot of these girls in the industry. And, and I know it's a cliche where it's like, well, she's going to school. She's trying to get through, through school for her kids and stuff. But it actually is true. I've met a lot of girls that were very intelligent, very smart. They did not get wrapped up in the industry. Not to say that there weren't that did. There weren't ones that did. And they would do their shifts. They would leave. They would go home to their family at like 6 a.m., get their kid ready for school. Then they would study and do their school. I mean, they were grinding it, so gives you a different perspective of like, they're looking at this as a job. God gave them a great body, beautiful face. They're going to take advantage of it, take advantage of the suckers that come in there and think they're going to sleep with them, and pay for, their future. So with you, obviously you're an extremely attractive woman. You get into OnlyFans, right? And you say you're kind of a straight edge mom, straight arrow Gennaro type of person. Then you get into this lifestyle, and that lifestyle sometimes can bring in other, of the devil's toys. And then the lifestyle automatically stops when you get out to be kind of the boss at, million billion media. In between there, how did Lucy Banks change as a person with all this kind of stuff going on?
I'm glad you asked that because it's a interesting story. When I met my partner now, so we've been together for 3 years, and he met me when I was doing OnlyFans, and I said to him, I was like, "Look, I'm not this party girl. I was a single mom. Well, I was a single mom at that time. I was like, I do this to provide. I'm setting my kids and myself up." And he was like, "Yeah, cool, whatever." Like as if. He thought he's like, "I'm just gonna hang out with this girl for a bit. We're gonna do coke on the weekends. Like, it's gonna be a party life." Like, he just thought I bet you don't even have custody of your kids. Like, that's just a story. He didn't say that, but I'm pretty sure that's what he thought.
He was hopeful.
And then it was like, it was just like, you're just like all OnlyFans girls. And because he knew who I was, like, without sounding like a wanker, like I was very, very well known in Australia at that time. Like, I don't want to be like, "Oh, look at me," but he knew who I was. And then he got to know me, and he's like, "Oh, fuck, this girl's for real. Like, she doesn't party, she doesn't do any drugs or anything like that. She goes home to her kids." And really, and he said to me before, he's like, "The amount of work that you do is so minimal compared to the amount of money you earn." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, I told you." So I think for me, and by all means, like, I've seen girls get caught up in the lifestyle, and it is so easy because your lifestyle shifts, right? And not only with that environment, but also the amount of money that you're making as well. Like, I know girls who are 21 years old, they're earning 60, 70 grand a month. Like, of course they're going to get caught up in it. And that's, I don't think it's their fault, but I think for me, like, I was that little bit older and I had the kids and I knew why I went into it, and I never lost that. So, by all means, like, I love like a good party weekend, but I never lost sight of my vision.
Yeah. Where did you find these people? Because let's break it down. Like you were doing, full on sex, right? Like threesomes and, all these types of things. So, I mean, you were like 0 to 60 and real quick.
Yeah.
So how are you finding, and again, I'm not judging, I'm just making sure the audience knows where we're at here. Where would, the first time you did it, you decided to do it, and how are you finding these people to do it, and where are you doing it? Like, is the couch behind you, is that said location?
Casting couch.
Yeah. It should be white, right? It's a good question. What was the first collaboration I did? I actually can't remember. I think the first one I did was with another OnlyFans girl and like I'm straighty 180, straight as they come. It's not a choice.
Strictly
Men can be
dickly.
so difficult. Like, yeah, unfortunately, strictly dickly. But it's so fun, like, because you get to just hang out with your friends and like have a couple of drinks, and then like you hook up and film, and then you just like hang out. So, and there's no other world that you can do that in where you can message your friends, you're like, hey, I need to film this collab tonight. Are you keen? So I think my first couple of collaborations were with girls. And for me, like I never got like, turned on or stimulated or anything. I think it's the same as like escorts would work. Like it's just a job. I was never grossed out by it. Like women are gorgeous, women are beautiful, but for me it was just work. And then over time, like there was some other like male creators that I would do content with. There was people on like Tinder that I'd do content with, but it's really difficult having that conversation because they need to sign consent forms. They need to provide ID, and that's quite a rigorous process. So it takes a lot of the, I guess, sexiness out of it. And once you explain that, a lot of people are like, no, this feels weird.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't get, that was my other question for you, Lucy, is this is a lot of people's like dream, like fantasy, I mean, it's like, oh my God, I can pick up a phone, I can shoot a DM, I can have threesomes, gangbangs, orgies, whatever. It just a click of a button and then film it and then get paid for it. Right. And you're saying that when the cameras went on, it was just work. So were you not enjoying any of this process, or I'm sorry, as it's properly pronounced in Australia, process?
Yeah.
You guys are right. We are wrong. I agree. Are you not enjoying, like, how can you not enjoy that? I mean, that's like,
Oh, gosh.
awesome, right?
Not like,
Yeah.
it can't, because, you said before I'm a lesbian. I'd just go through the motions with dudes. So.
But she's not a lesbian. She's straight.
No, she's straight. So she's with a lesbian.
Right, let her
She's
answer.
just going to go through the motions. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah. Like, and even if it's with a guy, like I'm just like, okay, where's the camera at? Where's this? Where's that? And like I can put it on. Like there's nobody that ever said to me like, oh, you're acting. Like, but it was, I don't know, like a job. And me having sex for content compared to now when I'm like very monogamous, I'm just with the one person, it is so different. Like I think it's the same as if you have a hookup, like you have a one night stand compared to a long term partner who knows what you like and there's that connection and you love them. Like the sex is different.
Yeah, I think that's a girl thing, Ben, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if we're doing what she's doing, it's like every time is the best night of our lives.
Yeah, you kind of made it sound like he was bummed out that you weren't as freaky off the screen as you were on it.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah.
He's like,
Do you
damn
have
it.
Yeah, he's like,
photographers?
fuck, I thought I had this like party girl. I was gonna get on this like free coke, and then he's like, boom, no,
Yeah,
sorry. I'm just like super boring.
Ben, are you talking about me or her partner?
Oh, I'm definitely talking about her.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying, are you saying that I was bummed out?
No, her. She sounded like her partner was bummed out that she wasn't as freaky off the screen.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. That's kind of the whole point of me talking about this, is because there's no doubt in my mind that whoever this guy is originally reached out to her for the Lucy Banks OnlyFans character, not for because he doesn't know her. I mean, that's how every relationship works. You look at somebody, it's physical, because visual first, and then you get in your head what you think that person is. And then you decide after you find out if they're that person or not, you want to continue. This dude that she's with now, there's no doubt He's going, dude, every night is an orgy at the bank's house. You know?
And now that he hears these kind of interviews, he has to go, she's that good an actress.
Damn.
She really
Yeah.
does like me.
Yeah.
Hey, are there cameramen? I mean, I can't. The standard still, sit shot doesn't do it for me. Are there people or someone in there doing the camera work?
So everyone's different. For me, I was very I had the best amateur content you've ever seen. So like I took everyone through a storyline. I was like, I've met this guy through this way or that way, or like I'm having a sleepover with my friend and we're hooking up. Like it was all very very amateur, but in a way that would like hook people in. Like they thought that like, oh my God, this is like the journey. So I never did professional porn because my audience would have hated it. They would have been like, whoa, this is so orchestrated, it's not real. There's a couple of times where I would have like a girlfriend filming for me, or like somebody else, but nothing ever professional. And everybody is different. But for me personally, it was all very like girlfriend experience, all very, like amateur on purpose.
Yeah. Your family, I think you said it or I read it, very conservative. So this
Yeah.
is way out of the bank's wheelhouse. Your mother, father, first reaction when they find out that their little princess is on a website doing dirty things for money. Mom first. What did she say?
She did not talk to me for 18 months. So we had a massive falling out. Like she was involved in court cases and it was like the most extreme thing. And same with everyone else. I think she just assumed like, oh, Lucy's lost her mind. She's having a mental breakdown. And then I think she found out that like I bought a house and that the kids were fine. And then like these days, like, I spent today with her and she was like, yeah, I get it now. I get that this was a good decision for you. But at the time she was just like, no, she couldn't understand it. Which is fair. Like she's a very religious one. So I get that she didn't understand it. But yeah, I didn't talk to her for 18 months. She didn't see my kids for a long time.
Well, she tried to take them away, if I'm reading your, information properly. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mm.
So and
That's
I'm really
sweet.
like everyone is different, but in Australia, like I had a conversation with a police officer about my situation, and he was so good. He was like, look, there's been 5 complaints about you to child protection. And I just burst into tears. I was like, how? Like my kids, like I drop them off to school every day. I pick them up every day. Like the kids know nothing. They're shielded from everything. You ask them what mum does, they would have been like, she works on the computer. And they knew nothing. And which is rightly so. They were so little. Kids don't need to know about porn or OnlyFans. Like I was never ashamed of what I did, but they were too young to know about that world. But I remember this police officer, I just burst into tears. He's like, whoa, stop, Lucy. He's like, have you ever had a phone call from child protection? And I was like, no. He's like, has anyone ever knocked on your door? And I was like, no. And he's like, yeah, because there's no merit to any of this. Like we can see this is just all bullshit. Like this is people trying to they're either jealous or they've got an issue with you. We are not concerned. You are not on our system. You're not flagged in our system. We don't care. If anything, we can see that you're a single mom and you're making it for your kids. So that was like for me. That was 6 years ago now, but I remember that moment so clearly. And I was just like, I was like, okay, even though it wasn't illegal, but just the threat of my kids being taken away from me when this was so uncomfortable, going from banking, religious family, conservative lifestyle to this was so massive for me, and I did it all for them. So for someone to say that I'm a bad mum is just like, and even now, like I'm sure people will be like, I still get comments on TikTok and something like, well, what about when your kids find out, rah rah rah, and I'm like, now they know, now they're cool, they get it. Like it's not everyone's a bigoted asshole. It's all good.
So your kids now know what mom does or did.
Yeah, yeah. So that was a really interesting conversation, and it's very interesting what you said before. You said the exact line. So I had the conversation with my son and told him because somebody else had told him. And hang on, I'll go back to the beginning. We were driving in the car, me and the two older boys, and he just came out. He was like, "Mum, do you do OnlyFans?" And I was like,
Oops.
he obviously knows because he's asked me the question. I think he was 10 years old at the time, and I was like, "Yeah, mate, I do." And he's like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "What do you think OnlyFans is?" And he's like, "It's like nudes and like naked photos and stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, it is." And we're on our way to an appointment, so we got there, and I was like, "Fuck, I can't like have this conversation with you now. We've got to rush into this appointment." So we got home, and then I was like, "So about what you said in the car," I was like, "Is that weird? Like, how does it make you feel knowing that mum does that?" And he was like, "No." And this is a line you said. You're like, "People do worse things for money."
Mhm.
He said that exact line. He's like, "Have you heard of hitmen? Hitmen. People hire people to kill people. It's fine."
That's
And that was
extreme.
that, and he just said it so nonchalant. He was like, "It's fine."
Well, I gotta say, when you explain what that whole conversation was awesome, by the way, that you just explained. I think it comes across different with the Australian accent than it does with an American accent. You hear, I've talked to OnlyFans girls, models, whatever they are, that are American, and had this similar story. And the way that they explain it to their kid and their kid reacts, it's very similar, but it just doesn't come across as cool and nonchalant as it does with the Australian.
I think this seems more casual here. And I tried to bring it up with him another time, like a week or so later, just to check in. And he's like, "Yep, cool." And then he brought it up with me about 2 weeks after that. He's like, "Mum, how much do you charge, like, for your subscription price?" And I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "So I was thinking if we like increase it by 10%, and then I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was like, I'm not having this conversation with you. Like, but he just again like saw the commercial side, and he's older now, but he's very, very entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
And that is just like without me even coaching him, he was just like, "What's your subscription price? Let's increase it. Let's do this." And I was like, No, mate, like we're not having this conversation." But and they're my older two. So I've got like a young baby from like my new partner, but the older two are old enough now that and like my middle child now, he said to me, he's like, "Mum, remember when we were poor?" And I'm like, "Yeah, mate, I do." Like, so they're old enough where they've seen like we bounced around between rentals. We had a $2,000 car that would like break down. Like they've seen the transition. So even as they get older, and I'm sure at some stage they're going to somehow start to realize the gravity of mum doing OnlyFans for a few years, but they've seen the transition. And it's not like I ever went on like big international holidays and left them home, or I went partied. They're in private schools. They have the best medical care. We live in like a beautiful house that we've bought property. I drive an awesome car. Like they see it. So I think even in the future when they start to understand it a bit more, they'll recognize the journey and know that like, and like hand on my heart, like I did it for these kids, and I would do it again. If anything, I'd do it earlier. And people can talk shit and be like, "Oh, like OnlyFans, you've got no respect, blah blah blah." Like, I'm a smart person. I work, I had a great job at the bank. I felt better doing this, and I'd do it again. I'd go hardcore.
You said, you gave us a story about your mom, but you never said how your dad reacted.
Yeah, he's dead, so it's kind of handy.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess he didn't.
Not from the shock of this, I hope, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, he had a heart attack when he found out.
Oh,
No,
cut it out.
I'm kidding.
Cut it
No,
out.
I'm kidding. He died beforehand. But and like to be fair, he would have hated it. He would have hated it, but I never had to deal with it. I think he would have understood the commercial side. Like he was very business minded, so he would have got that. He would have hated it though. So I didn't have to deal with that, thank God.
Do you remember, Lucy, the last OnlyFans sexual encounter that you had for your subscribers until you were done in that world, then you knew you were going to launch Million Billion Media?
Yeah, I remember the last piece of content I filmed. So I had a video call with a subscriber. So he booked it, he paid in advance, and like I was in this house with like my family and my new partner. Like we bought this together, and he was home, and I was like, "Can you just leave me alone for a bit? Because I'm going to do a video call with the subscriber." And he was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." But there was something in his eyes that just broke a little bit. And he has never asked me to stop doing OnlyFans. He's never said, like, he knows the money that it brought. He knows I did it for the kids. But I remember that moment so specifically. I've never told him this. I don't think he even knows. But I just remember that look in the eye saying, like, can you leave me alone in the bedroom? Because I got to do this video call with a subscriber. And I was like, nah, like, this is not worth it. I have this, like amazing, like, beautiful. And he's like the best stepdad and dad, and I just love him so much. And I was like, he's been so supportive, and his family is so supportive. And I was like, I will throw all of this away to live this life now. So, and yeah, again, he never asked me to, but for
Wow.
me, I was like, I'm actually done now. Like
Did you-
it was
did you-
it was
did
it
you
was
go
like
and-
that.
Did you go and do the content with the subscriber and then you were done, or did you not do it?
No, I did it because I was like, oh, I've already
She
paid
half-assed
for
her
it.
way through that one.
But
I ain't
I know,
giving back
yeah.
that money. Yeah.
I know. I was like, no, I'm gonna earn this. But I knew that was the last time. And so I was at my peak when I walked away from it. But I just knew in that moment, I was like, and I always said, like, I'd do OnlyFans until it wasn't fun anymore. And that was the moment where I was like, this isn't fun anymore. Like, this is impacting on my personal life. And
So
it's
what do you do? Like, so you say a subscriber pays you. So what do they pay you? Like a couple $1,000s, and you go on a call, like a Zoom call, and what do you guys just like masturbate to each other, or how does that work? Yeah, is that it?
Yeah, that's literally it. Yeah.
Oh, really? I could do that. Probably.
Yeah, I know. But and everyone's different. So everyone has like different requests. Like I used to have this guy that was really into humiliation kinks. So I'd be like, you need to pay me like $500 a minute. And I would just sit there and I would have a beer and I would put my feet up and I would just drink the beer. And every now and then I'd look at him and be like, and then I'd just ignore him. And he fucking loved it. So everyone's different.
Different. Fucking.
Can I get that guy's number?
Look, I can ignore you.
So I'm
no problem.
I'm assuming I'm assuming you were nude while you did that, right?
No,
you were fully clothed, drinking a
Yeah.
beer, and this guy's paying you $500 a minute or whatever for you just to be like, dick.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve to see me naked. Like that's the whole like psyche behind it.
God, they say that, where there's a recession and there are money issues and Jesus, marriage. Can you say roundabout when it was all said and done with your OnlyFans, how much money you made? Roundabout.
Yeah, so I did OnlyFans for a few years, and like to be fair, like I didn't apply myself all the time. There was months where I made like $7. There was months where I made $100,000. So once I started applying myself, I remember I said before, I was like, I had it like my friend who I spoke to initially who got me into it, she was making, I think it was 5,000, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, that would change my life. And then I started it, I was like, imagine if I could make $10,000 a month. Like I would be so rich, like that would just be huge. And then at the end, it's funny how your goalposts change. At the end, I would have been devastated to be making $10,000 a month. Like that would have been so low for me. So the goalposts change. But yeah, in overall, it was close to $2 million.
Yeah, $2 million. And that's just over a couple of years.
Jeez.
Yeah, but it would have been more if I'd like applied myself and
yeah, you're such a failure.
actually worked hard
Next
the whole time.
Do better.
Bailey, I'm feeling a career change here.
You feel like what?
I'm feeling a career change. Something's brewing in me.
Well, I guys, I know guys do it, but we were talking about this on an episode the other day. Is it's so easy for good-looking women to literally, just take a picture, and y'all are born now with these modeling skills, which is crazy. And you're like, look off to the distance and like the sky is blue, but I'm not feeling blue. Bikini by Joanne's bikinis and this and that. And you get millions of views. You put it on OnlyFans and you're getting thousands of dollars. I can't, do look, my walls are white, but I'm feeling all right. Nobody's going to give me money for that. I can barely get subscribers for my podcast, in which I think the shows are pretty damn good. Better than most of the stuff that's out there. Definitely better than stuff that's on the radio. You know,
You could make money off OnlyFans, but your audience will be men. Like, I don't make the rules. Men are the only ones that pay for porn. Women do not pay for porn.
Gotta lose the hoodie, Bailey.
That's just the way it is.
gotta lose the hoodie. Lose the hoodie, show me the goodies.
But there's so many straight guys on there who know that, and they appeal to like a gay audience. So,
well, the trick of the trade, if you're single, at least back in the day, it was, if you want to find a really good straight girl, go to a really good gay bar.
Yep.
Damn
that's
right.
That's where you go. As long as you're not, homophobic, in which I'm not, and I had, here's the cliche line, bunch of gay friends, but I would go to the bars and I was blown away by the girls around there. But the only problem is they did not want to be hit on. That's why they would go there. So you would have to find
safe dates. Yeah.
Right. You'd have to find the gay guy to introduce you, to go over, because the gay guy could go over there and be like, oh my God, this bra is just amazing.
Just stop.
They could get away with that. Obviously I couldn't, but it's like, I've got to introduce you to my straight friend, Jason. He's over there drinking the muddled mint drink, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I did all that until I got roofied. Then I quit going.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, so what's the next plan? Million Billion Media, Lucy. We've covered it all, and your story is fantastic, and I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for your kids, and everything's worked out. You seem like such a cool girl, like really, really way cool. So now it's just a matter of getting Million Billion Media off the ground, and you're kind of the manager in charge now of the next gen of social media influencers. And not only can you help them with the technical side of stuff by sharing your story, but you can help them not go down probably some bad paths that you had options to go down as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So Million Billion Media, like, we started off as a PR agency, whereas now with like PR marketing, there's definitely like a huge amount of mentorship that goes in on it as well. So like I've had girls call me and they're like, fuck, like, Lucy, I'm pregnant, or I've been detained. Can you come pick me up from the police station? Or like, this has happened, that has happened. And like I'm in my 30s, whereas a lot of these girls like early 20s. So there is definitely like a bit of a big sister role as well. But I've also I've walked the path that they have been on in terms of, you can make a lot of money very quickly, but you can also have a lot of eyeballs on you as well. So, and I've worked with girls who have fucked that up, and they've done something bad and they've got themselves cancelled, and it's a matter of trying to navigate that and come out the other side. I've also, in my time, seen a lot of girls come into the industry, make a huge amount of money, and they burn out. Like, you can't do it forever. And I mean that in the sense of, like, because you burn out and you get bored. You don't age out. I know a woman in her 60s who is making 5 figures a month in her 60s. And I'm like, I fucking love that for you. Like, anyone can make money on OnlyFans if you're good at marketing it, but you get over it. So it's like, okay, you've got this window of attention, say 4 years. How are you going to leverage that and set up something that is going to last you long term and keep bringing you income, whether that's like another business or merchandise or investments? So it's tricky, because when you're maybe 22 years old and you're earning all this money, you don't want to hear about the future. But I'm lucky that the girls do tend to listen to me. So sometimes it's like a little bit forceful, but I'm like, we've got to set you up, babe. And like, even if I think like everyone's going to grow through it, right? So I can't say to them like, don't go do coke every single weekend, because they're not going to listen. They're going to have to go through that. Okay, cool. But I can help them set up financially, and I can help them build a personal brand. So when they're done with OnlyFans, they can go and start an activewear company, or they can open like a they can do whatever they want, because they've got a following that is a cult following, and they will buy whatever these girls are selling, whether that's OnlyFans or whether it's something else. So that is what I would say my job is. Like, yes, we get people in the media. Like a lot of OnlyFans girls, I could rattle off names. A lot of girls that are in the media have come through Million Billion. That's great, and I love that. But for me, my passion is having them have something that's going to last them long term, and that 4 or 5 years that they did in their 20s, and they fucked their reputation for going to get a normal job. They might have lost friends, they might have lost family, but that's not for nothing. They've got something that's going to last them long term. That is what I get passionate about.
Well, if you've got any of your clients that have just as good of story, if not better than yours, I would love to have them on. I'm all about the story. So, I'll shoot you an email and we can stay in contact there to see if we can work together in the future. Because you're great. You're a great guest. One last question before we let you go. The monitor behind you, is that a security camera monitor?
Yeah, it is.
Can I give you a piece of advice? Next time you do a podcast that's video, make sure people can't see where your cameras are.
That's a good idea. That's just my driveway, but yeah, you're right. Thank you.
just so
maybe we should cut that out.
You don't have some creepy guy going, I know one there and one's there and one's there. So I'm good.
I thought you were going to ask about my light. Everyone asked about my light.
Well,
no one's ever asked about my security cameras, but thank you.
So says the creepy guy, right? Okay.
No, I was going to say protective, but I mean, creepy, you said that.
No, I said sex and you said collaborative. So, I mean, we have a difference of terms.
Yeah,
on Instagram at Australia's Girl Next Door, right?
Oh.
That's one, I think one of, right?
Yeah. So that was, I used to use it a lot with my OnlyFans. So my main account now is I'm Lucy Banks.
Okay.
That's the best place to find me. My business account is Million Billion Media _. I also have a podcast. I'm like, we should do this again, but like for my podcast, like, can we all catch up and do this?
Yeah.
Another time?
Hell yeah.
I'm available all the time. Yes.
Great. Let's do it again. My podcast is Professional Attention Seekers.
Okay. And that's on all major platforms.
Yes, absolutely.
And video as well as audio.
Yeah, so audio on major platforms, Spotify, whatever, but then also YouTube as well. Again, under Professional Attention Seekers.
Yeah, what's great about, so I've been using what was once called Anchor platform off Spotify, now Spotify for Creators, which Spotify's done because YouTube is the #1 place for podcasts right now, believe it or not. And it's because of the video aspect of it. But what Spotify has done, which is awesome, is, all of our shows, and I do 5 shows a week, they're video, but you can turn the video, you can toggle between video and audio on your Spotify app. It's a little, confusing when you're trying to post. And, first off, you have an entire audience that doesn't even know how to get to a podcast. So that's the challenge there. Then you have the podcast listeners that are probably, brand loyal to Spotify, Google, Apple, whatever the case may be. And then you have to explain where to find the video podcast. And then you have to explain when you have subscribers, like I have subscription podcasts on Tuesdays and Thursdays that you can't get to. I just had to do that this morning to somebody. Like, you don't have to subscribe to that one, but if you want those, you do have to subscribe. Then they're like, well, where do I go? Yeah. I've already subscribed to Spotify. Well, you have to subscribe on thebaileyshow.com. So it's somebody needs to make it real simple and real easy for people to get all this done.
All in one. Yeah. That's a business opportunity.
Yeah, there you go. I got a lot of them in my head over all these years. But Lucy Banks, please keep in touch. I'll email you here in a little bit again, just to give you my information. Anytime you want to come back on or want to do some cross stuff, let me know. You're a fantastic guest with a fantastic story, and I'm so happy it all worked out for you and your kids.
Thank you. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on and for the platform. And let's all keep talking. We're going to be long-term friends.
Long-term friends, Lucy Banks. All right, take care. Have a good one.
Oh, yeah.
You too.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Subscribe at thebaileyshow.com. Yeah, baby.